Namaste and welcome to this exciting new episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. Sat means truth, Logos means a study or science. Sattology means a science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology. Myth means a fake lie or imagination. And mythology means that study of fake lie or imagination, which means Logos. So Sattology debunks mythology. In fact, I can tell you, even in the Western world, when it comes to Jesus, some of them have started calling it a mythology, which is true. But there is a faction opposing it. And they're big time, they don't let publish any facts regarding his birth. Now, that's how strong they are anti mythology. But the same scholars have the audacity to call Ramayana, Mahabharata, Ved, Puran as mythology. And the reason is that the most of the Indians who are the custodians of Vedic literature, primary custodian, when the world looks at Vedic culture, they look at India. They call their own scriptures as mythology. That's how wrong it is. Today, I have a very, very special guest, Vice Chancellor, Professor A.D.N. Bajpai of Bilaspur University, and without Atal Bihari Bajpai University, Bilaspur. And without delay, let us welcome him. Namaste.
Thank you,
Professor
Aditya.
Bajpai. Yes.
Thank you very much.
So you have had such a distinguished career and you have seen students from all sides over so many years. And you are in a position where you are today deciding the standards of education and how you can improve it. And one thing I must commend you, I have not seen any other vice chancellor working so hard. You are on
Oh,
a,
thank you.
you are like ever since you have assumed that position, it's like every second day or every day you have 2 or 3 conferences going on at a global scale. In fact, one of them I had an opportunity to also participate. But it's
Yeah.
remarkable, very remarkable what you are doing,
Yeah,
Professor.
thank you very much.
So there is a mindset in India. They always look to the West for science, technology import, and there are users in India which always look to the West or any other country, even Israel. And I have nothing against Israel. I love that country, the way it lives. But it's a very small country, 6 million people, 1/3 of the city
Yeah,
of Mumbai, or
yeah,
less than
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And we are looking at them for technology, a country of 1.3 billion people. Where is this mindset coming from? Like anything foreign is good, anything Indian is bad. You know, when you look at rich Americans, they go label searching, and when they buy a cloth or any garment, they look for made in India tag. And but this mindset in India is surprising for us when we see India as the land of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other ancient great scriptures.
Aditya, thank you very much for speaking so good words about me. I don't know whether I deserve those good words or not. It's my nature to work hard, and without the hard work, how can we progress? This is a new university, so I'll have to work hard to see that it grows and grows exponentially. Multidimensional growth is I required to have. And the question which you posed, Aditya, has got to see long history behind it. So far as Indian culture is concerned, it believes in self-respect. It believes in see complete faith in also the rituals, traditions, culture, and everything. But what happened that you see, India was under colonial rule, and that too was not to see ordinary colonial rule as such. It was crushing our culture, our language, our psychology, and just see ruining that particular faith, which used to we have to have is proud of. So from that only colonial mindset, it came that everything which is coming from West is good, better, sophisticated, which will have a see global competitiveness, global compatibility, and everything which belongs to India that is not that good. It is of inferior quality. It will not have, you see, global compatibility. So, if we want to have some global, you see, level asset, we should go globally by purchasing, you see, Western technology, Western knowledge, Western language, Western lifestyle, Western, say, habits, like that. So, this is hangover that is colonial oral asset. It is not our own nature asset. But slowly, slowly, things are being substituted. Our own language, Sanskrit, is taking, see, primary seat. As you yourself, living in, you see, United States of America, have done a lot of work in area of Sattology, Sattology debunking mythology. It is substitution of that particular domain of, you see, Western knowledge by our own, you see, knowledge. We are working in the area of, you see, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and what and many things. We have already see written many books related to our own culture, and people are being attracted towards this. So I think the mistake which our, you see, freedom, our leaders, especially the times when we achieved independence, maybe you see they may have, see, some problems, they may have, see, some compromises to do. They should have gone for just debunking. Today you are debunking method, debunking entire, see, colonial mindset, saying no, we are an independent nation. We should have our own systems, traditions, based constitution. You know, our constitution is not our constitution, it's just a agglomeration of different constitutions prevailing at that time, the British, American, French, German, like that, where various concepts also been taken by them. And then language should have been, you see, given primary seat, Hindi or Sanskrit. If Hindi or Sanskrit could have been, see, placed as a national language, Rashtra Bhasha, then so many things could have been, you see, removed. And if Sanskrit keeping the base, then people could have connected through Sanskrit with our, you see, indigenous roots. You are connecting yourself with the indigenous roots, which are available in Ramayana, Mahabharata, Rig Veda, and many Vedas and Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. People could have gone that. I think we missed the bus during the first 20 years of our independence. Then there was the political instability. Congress versus Janata Dal, then again BJP, Jan Sangh, Sangh, like that. And the political instability was also used by these Western powers in a big way. They were also monitoring each and every east of India, as India should not connect with its own roots. And then so many economic policies. Why to produce anything of your own? If things are available at a cheaper rate outside, why not purchase them? If better technology available outside, why not, you see, purchase them? So that too also acted as a deterrent to, you see, to have faith in our own self. So what I mean to that, things are being substituted, things are changing at a very fast speed. And I think that the day is not very far. It may take 5 another years or 10 another years to see that our own culture, our own, say, technology, our own knowledge system, our own language, everything will be properly placed, respected. And I'll give you one example, and then I close to this particular question. Yoga. On 21st June, we are going to celebrate International Yoga Day. As our Prime Minister proposed this particular idea of celebrating International Yoga Day on 21st June and was accepted by, I think, more than 190 countries out of 195. And 150 plus countries are celebrating International Yoga Day, including Pakistan, China, America. You yourself said so many times that you are having many, you see, yoga instructors in America. At the same time, we are having so many, that see Krishna consciousness or ISKCON temples in America. This Swaminarayan temples are also everywhere in whole of the world. Our transcendental meditation proposed by the Maharshi Mahesh Yogi has got its own roots outside our India. So what I mean to say that things are changing. It will take time. You see about 300 colonial rule. If we take another 10 years, even 100 years to decolonialize our mindset, entire narrative, I think we'll be saving 200 years. Thank you, Adit.
Thank you so much for this long, good answer. I think giving a backdrop. One of the things which is you are in the forefront of academics in India, and you are leading many. I've seen so many conferences you have organized. Many big people have come who are very renowned in the space of academics. The Western world still is living in a colonial mindset. For them, whether India, whatever India may think, but the Western world is totally different about India. And one of the things which they oftenly cite is the lack of quality of research in the Indian universities. Now, there are some cases, yes, it is applicable because the research infrastructure is not. Uh, it's not about the infrastructure. The teaching pedagogy or methodology is in India is evolving, but not everybody learns in the same way. Like for example, Vedic mathematics is a
Yeah.
far more faster, and it works with our mind. It is designed around our mind, and it's easier than the Western mathematics. Western mathematics is, I would say, for the dumb. One apple plus one apple is equal to two apple. But there are 16 or 36 mantras in Vedic mathematics, which cover the entire gamut of mathematics, including geometry, in just in calculation terms. Now, if the so when the Western academics accuse India of lack of research and lack of, there are two motives in that. One is that saleability, one is that financial gain, and they purposely do that for all developing countries, but especially for India and China, and also to some extent Japan, because the entire mindset of a Western academic is somewhere spread Christianity through their teachings. That's the entire goal. That's how it is designed. Now, Indian mathematics, Vedic mathematics, is not designed around that. It is designed around making spiritual advancement also, so that you can calculate the position of stars, position of astronomical events, which can be important to our human lives. So there is a purpose is totally different of mathematics also. Western mathematics is designed around lengthening the time of the student in their campuses so that they can earn the maximum money. That's why they have a system of 10 plus 2 plus 4 plus something else. Whereas we see the historical, if we see the history of India, Mahabharata, Ramayana, or any other later, even Chalukyas, Cholas, the Indian education is designed around making a student well versed in the all the basic sciences, basic arts by the age of 14. And after that, there are certain snatak and other degrees are there where the specialization happens. So, like, how do we incorporate and how do we debunk? It's a long question, but I will give you a lot of time to please educate us that we are, when we follow a Western model, we are importing their mindset also. Then there can never be innovation. It's just like if I set up the rules of the game according to me, you cannot win because I have set up the rules in such a way I'm going to win. So, what is your viewpoint on this, sir?
So, Aditya, research, especially in India, uh, we have been, you see, researchers throughout, especially Rishi, very concept of Rishi means researcher. Ish Dhatu means one who sees. Rishis means seers, who can see today, present, and future also. That is, you see, Rishi. Rishis were, you see, great researchers. They were, you see, researching on words, dhatu, grammar, mantra, stars, botany, zoology, biodiversity, geology, metallurgy, everything what not you see. And they have you see uh, written voluminous. They have given formulae also of everything. How the mercury can be converted into gold. Entire chemia is given. How this copper can be converted into gold. Everything is available in our say, scriptures. But problem is this again. You see, it's rooted with our say, previous answer. If you are totally you see disconnected with that language which is Sanskrit, everything is available in Sanskrit. Sanskrit was not properly you see decoded or translated into even Hindi or even in English. And system of teaching and research, education research was propounded in English. English knowing persons will go for see English books, and those English books are being see written by see English authors, maybe British, maybe American, maybe French or anybody else. Like all see French, German, Russian languages were translated into English. Then they are coming to say India. Even Japanese is also being translated into English and then coming to say India as well. So that particular portion, that particular entire area, the doors of Indian indigenous knowledge are not yet open. We are just standing at the doorsteps to open the doors. Even the windows are not totally open. You just talk to Vedic Ganit. Vedic Ganit is just good. You know that when Manjul Bhargava fetched Fields Medal in mathematics, I think in 2014, then he was asked that what for is he you have done, what for you have fetched this Fields Medal. He said it's computational mathematics, but such simply it's a Vedic mathematics which I have just done. Ramanujan was another greatest mathematician from India. He didn't read anything. It was simple, I think, articulate. But he was contacted by Hardy of Cambridge University, Trinity College, and he went to say Trinity, and still his theorems are not being properly decoded as such. One thing positive, we are having clues what is what available in our scriptures. In our all books, also those clues are available. You have read, grasped, and again reproduced. In English lucid is the English form. Now it's the job of the government and our own researchers that they should pick up those particular researchable topics and invest in those researches and then come forward from our original researches. I'll give one example of original research. You see, J.C. Bose, we all know about. J.C. Bose, you see, did his research that all, you see, flora and fauna has got, you see, prana. They are, you see, living organisms. It was challenged, but he proved by scientific instruments in the labs. In one of the lab in America, he was invited. He says to prove your see this particular thesis that this particular plant has got life. They said it's alive. So what did they do? They injected poison into that plant and plant didn't die. And everybody started laughing. That's how plant didn't die. Means your thesis is wrong. So he took that injection of poison and started injecting into his body and said, if we see a plant cannot die, then I will also not die. See that level of confidence he was having. So research for the generation of knowledge was also one of the main objective in Indian universities, small universities, like state universities, where is a good research in chemistry, physics, mathematics. They were working, you see, in different areas. Original works have also been done. But sooner you see that degree is associated with the research. our universities of Banaras Hindu University, or see for that sake Allahabad University, or even Jawaharlal Nehru University, or even Delhi University, or Aligarh Muslim University, or for that sake University of Madras, University of Mumbai, University of Kolkata have produced good research in all spheres of life. No matter, see, they could not see come up to that level of research which were being produced in Western universities, big institutions. But our IITs, our BARC, BARC, our Atomic Research Center, our ISRO or BSSRC, they have excelled in space researches in other parts of researches also. Even in basic sciences, some researches have been done. The problem is nowadays in our state universities, the research is connected with the degree, that PhD degree. And PhD has become essential to get job of the lectureship in the university. Sooner you just get involved in any degree oriented work only, then quality certainly goes down. But to hope Rashmi Adit, I would like to mention that under this national education policy, we are going to have is even National Research Foundation. A National Research Foundation has got its specific mandates. One, if you are going to do research, it must generate some knowledge. Secondly, it must solve some problems of society, economy, politics, like that. Or it should be helpful in formulating some policies by the state, by the government. With these three dimensions, these researches will be funded by this National Research Foundation. And anybody, another thing I would like to tell you, if research has got some prerequisite that you must enroll yourself, register yourself in any of the university, and you should have some first class, see, MA degree with some NET or the JRF like that, then again you are putting so many riders. This National Research Foundation has removed all these riders. Anybody who is interested in doing research in the formal, the informal sector, even suppose any agriculturist, any farmer wants to do some innovation by undertaking any research project, he can also apply to get some funds from the National Research Foundation. So things are improving. I'm just again connecting my this statement with my earlier answer. Things are improving, but the speed with which they should have improved, that speed is slow, but India is not sleeping. India has affected. Aditya.
So
Yes, Aditya.
one of the see the Western academics or the Western world will, for their own commercial sake, will never accept an Indian researcher for whatever reason. Only when it is commercially interested for them, then only they will do that. So looking at the West to accept your research or doing a research on the standards of the West is counterproductive to the entire research ecosystem in India. The Indian industry should be involved in the Indian research. Like most of the topics, I can tell you one topic is I could not find anything from my subjects because I write on Mahabharata and Ramayana. There was nothing in the American research will ever fund it. No direct connection with the American industry. It goes counter to that. But the Indian research, when it is connected to Indian industry, so the Indian research students are sponsored by the Indian industry to gain a value out of that. Like for example, every single corporation in America funds a research to develop new technologies and develop new things. Whereas the India, the culture is that an Indian company, instead of building something new, they would rather buy the technology from the West. It ultimately funds the Western research. Now, if you want to reverse that trend, then you have to do it. Like the Chinese have a very simple philosophy, copy paste. So they send their spies to all over the world, and particularly American universities, to steal the researches or to buy them. Like they fund many chairs in the American universities, and they take the research from American universities and build it in China. But in India, that the intellectual property is very high. The level of intelligence quotient, the IQ that Indians have, is much higher. Do you think that that model has evolved or become like common in India right now? Industry and research participation.
You see, Aditya, we have been talking about the academia industry, you see, interrelationship. But I don't know why it could not be see, functional properly. There may be some lack of confidence of industries towards you see, our academic researchers and professors, or you see our academicians are also living in their own you see, ivory you see, castle with some self-respect. Why should they go to the industry like that? There are certain you see, objectives. The purposes of research in West, including America and other countries, and purposes of research in India are entirely different. But I think simple for the sake of generational knowledge, if research is being conducted, that too is not good. There should be some balance. That research should have some purpose. If suppose any industrialist is coming forward to fund this research, that should be welcome. Of late, the concept of this corporate social responsibility you see has come up, and some big industrialists are spending some of their, see, I think 2% of their their total worth, annual worth, they're spending in see, university and colleges. And some group like say, Azim Premji or say, Tatas or say, this builders, uh, Ambanis, they are also coming forward to uh, they are also investing in the university system, university system. If they are coming in a big way, respecting our you see, educationists and you see, researchers, and saying that this is the project, and you just fulfill it, complete it, give me some solutions, and they can wait also. I think things can improve because uh, if they are having some easily ready-made as a cheaper cost thing available from outside, they go and purchase those things, you see, instead of depending upon you see, Indian researcher, Indian labs as such. So there also mindset of scholars, scientists, and mindset of you see, industrialists, both will have to see changes. Another thing I would like to mention, before globalization and after globalization, there has been a lot of change. Under WTO regime, when we are becoming see globalized world, so that the technology transfer has been one of the main instrument of dominating this see, developing world by the developed countries. That is being used by Western world, and now there is a competition. China, by hook or crook, they have done you see a lot of things, and they are giving competition also to the Western world. Russians also have come forward with a lot of you see, technology in all spheres. They have you see, developed technology, but we'll have to see that we'll have to see that Russia and China both are you see, communist countries, and India is a democratic country. In a democratic country, each group has got its own way of you see, style, their own style of see, functioning. That too is see, creating you see, a lot of problems. But the point is very correct. If things are changing, then the government to the industry, the corporate world should start having faith in her own you see, scientists, in her own labs, no technocrats, so that they should develop technologies and that should be used by industrial world. Then only win-win situation can be developed. Aditya.
So, see, every single major corporation in America, they fund billions of dollars in American universities. In fact, you cannot start a research unless it is funded by the private model. You cannot start a research.
Yeah.
Now, automatically,
Yes,
that
yes.
research becomes valuable now. It's not just for a degree and becoming a educationist. Now it is,
True, true, true,
if it
true,
is no private involvement or no industry involvement, you cannot start a research actually.
true,
It's a
true, Adit, true.
it's a prerequisite to build. So
Yeah.
CSR is a good concept because now you have made billions of crores of rupees and then you are spending. That is not a very great charitable act. But the funding of research actually creates the industry, new industries. Like for example, we all know social media, how it came about, and it was a big involvement of private corporations actually. Now that culture is coming in India in also because there are people understanding that your people build your innovation. It's not outside people build your innovation. Technology
Yes,
transfer actually destroys your industry, not promote, not
yes,
creates it.
yes, yes,
No,
yes, yes.
the biggest spender in any country, especially in the West, is the defense. Emails came
Yes,
from there. Social media concept came from there. All these things came from
yes.
there. And now great policies have been announced by this government in India, where they have increased some import ban list, which is very clear to the Americans also do the same thing. Now, I do not know where it is motivated from, but it's a great initiative. Now, and defense technologies often lead into the civilian space where civilians can also use it. It's a great opportunity. So, do you think that with this new model, where you can propose to the government and study the Western model and build innovative Indian systems which do not rely on any foreign technology transfer? See the It is very easy to import something and say we are fighting a great war, but then you cannot sustain for a long period. Today US and Russia are respected because they can fight for unlimited time using their own weapons if they have to. So do you think that this culture becoming, now we need to, in the new education policy, new research policy, you said, but the research is always sustainable when it can be used by the local industry? Is this concept of the Western world, have we studied that also? What is your view on that?
Actually, Adit, you are just moving towards. So far defense is concerned, I'm very correct. See, when you were mentioning that nobody can fight war ad infinitum by imported technology like that. We are also substituting. We have been substituting, but that very concept of import substitution is not being respected nowadays. And that too under the WTO regime that they wanted to do away with this import substitution. Rather, imports have been, included in one of the main WTO conditions as it. But for defense, India is developing. We all know that we are just becoming nuclear power as such. Most of the nuclear power which we have obtained, that is all indigenous, that is all over Indian. And we all know that when I think France refused to give us a cryogenic engine like that India developed. When one country, I don't know whether it's Japan or Germany, declined that as a supercomputer to us, we developed our own. And our entire space research being done by ISRO and VSSRC, that too is purely Indian asset. So far as the technical brain is concerned, technical know-how is concerned, we are not lacking anything. We are at par with any Western countries. Now it is the government to respect and have confidence in our scientists. Baba, you should come forward with this level of technology. You should develop this technology. We don't want to import it. But what's happening? The compulsions over obviously government and the sophistication being made by these Western countries. It will take very long time to compete with them. We would develop any particular weapon, any particular missile, but that we at least 20 years older than what the Western are producing today. We can make some fighter jets. So Rafale is much, much faster. And when we are having some, you see, threat from China or the boundaries nearby, then we cannot wait for development of, you see, our own, you see, Rafales, then fight against. Meanwhile, that China will attack on us and will be nowhere. So those compulsions, those strategic compulsions also Adit will have to take into care of. But I think we are moving slowly in that direction. But things are being taken very seriously, especially by this government, the Modi government. Modi government is very, very serious so far as defending our boundaries. Yes, Aditya.
Uh, one of the models which is used in the, and this is even from the time of Mahabharata and Ramayana also, because
Yeah,
Narada asked Yudhishthir, do you regularly create conferences where the intelligent people from all over the world come to share ideas
yeah.
with you? And do you use those ideas in building your armies stronger and civilian society stronger? And there also, the state used to fund these important researchers. Our great rishis, munis were all researchers on different aspects, and fund them so that they create technologies for that time to protect themselves. Now, the same model is being used by the West also. The American taxpayer pays for the research for which is used by military defense contractors, name anything, British Aerospace or any other general contractor in the US. And that money is used to create new systems which have dual purpose, including NASA. NASA nowadays gives their space facilities to SpaceX. Now, private company is using NASA's facilities because NASA is funded by the taxpayer. So that model is there, in which we have seen Sikorsky getting funded like that. We have seen Boeing funded like that for many technologies, and they are also free to use those technologies for their commercial purposes also. So now this is the way it works, and the way the now the new government has done so much, Indian government has done. So do you think that we are moving in that direction, or we should move in that direction?
Aditya, you see, number one, I don't know why I am quite skeptical. So far as comparing with the Indian mindset with the American mindset, quite apprehensive. I'm sorry if I'm just taking altogether, you see, another side as such. India cannot become America. It's okay that is it technology or defense or that other style which is America is doing. We should try to have something to emulate from his America. But everything we cannot emulate as such. Because Americans' economy depends upon this export of arms and ammunition, defense technology. If we just exclude entire export of defense material from America, I think that economy will just slash like you see anything. So you develop so many other good things, and if you are having something better, something surplus, you should try to share with many other developing countries like that. If you are producing everything for the sales purpose, for the commercial purpose, I think it's not a good idea. Americans have got their own culture, and we are having our own culture. In our culture, you see, that commercial purpose takes a back seat. Our main purpose of doing research or developing anything is not for the commercial purpose. That takes a back seat. Means that social welfare, welfare of the common man, welfare of the humanity as a whole. For that, we have been working. In the past also, when Mahabharata or in Ramayana Kal, we developed our own technologies. We fought the big wars as such. But war has never been, our own culture. We developed, our own wars, so is Brahmastra and everything. just to protect ourselves, not for any commercial purposes as such. So I think in India, we should try to develop all technologies, all see bombs, wars related equipments, wars related technologies, missiles and nuclear power, everything see they should have to protect its own boundaries, not for the commercial purposes. And we should try to substitute our import as much and as soon as possible. Aditya.
See, the West will never share their research with India ever. Even the vaccines, they did not share. America refused vaccines in the first place, and when there was a protest, then they started sharing. Now, it is a culture of the West that they want to consume. Now, I'll again go back to Mahabharata and Yudhishthir again in the scriptures, that Narad Muni advises him that your armed forces must be more powerful than any other armed forces in the world, because that's what drives the diplomacy internationally. This is the rule of the world. The lion will always call the shots wherever it is. So
Yeah,
so it is the rule of the world, and it has been existing from the time immemorial, like from the beginning of creation, you can say. And therefore all the kings of India were especially strong, both militarily as well as morally through swadhyay, and militarily through dharma in Raj, like the Raj Dharma.
yeah,
Both
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
go hand in hand, in which academics play a very important role. One of the most important role is of the guru, shiksha guru, people who give education. And if they are protected and they are promoted, then the country moves forward. That's a basic rule, nobody can deny it. Everyone has gone through some school and they can say that. So this system of education which is in India, it has also it is also required to stand to the test of today's time, because today's time, unfortunately, whatever the case, because of colonial imposition and foreign invaders attacking India, the entire culture was severely subjugated in favor of the Western countries. Even today, Indians, they look to the West for everything. That is Max Muller's mindset, which has been given to India. But now, after 75 years of independence, it is time to rethink, and it is also a time to going back to the basics, where we can have that kind of leadership. See, if we do not take lessons from our ancient history, we will again fall into the same trap. History teaches as well as history. If you don't learn from the history, you again fall into the same trap. Like, for example, this social media. Social media has become a new East India Company right now. They are challenging Indian might. They're challenging the government itself. Ban us, try to ban us, and Indian government is doing whatever it can. See, because we have not learned the lessons. Like, for example, social media in Russia, they have no chance of going any further, or any other country. So, do you think that the innovation, I always say innovation comes from the past, not of the future, because the future has nobody has seen. And so, based on the past, we create. So, what do you think? What lessons can we learn from our immediate past as well as ancient past? And we can build our own framework which can protect our culture. Most important is our culture, Sanatan Dharma, but also to spread it, because both are needed. The world is looking forward to this culture, but and there are private individuals who do it in every country now. Every country you'll see somebody visiting Rishikesh or Haridwar or somewhere, but still, the strength of the culture will always come when India also becomes stronger, because when they see the land of Sanatan Dharma is strong, then people get more attracted to that kind of culture. What is your view on that?
Aditya, so far as near past is concerned, I think very less to learn. Is it?
Yeah,
We,
we have
we'll have
to,
to we'll have
we
to
have to
connect the
unlearn
line.
from the near past, unlearn from the near
Rather,
past.
we'll have to unlearn. Very good, very good. We'll have to unlearn, undo with our the latest past vision. There is nothing good. When I'm just looking back, I see I'm 65 years old. I think only thing good which I have got, that is from my parents, not from the surroundings, isn't it? But certainly our ancient past is glorious. It has got all, you see, best things which are relevant today in the today's world. And that literature is available. But one thing you'll agree, Aditya, even having 1,000 years of alien rule on our Indian land, we have saved our traditions, our dharma, our culture, our sanskars, our festivals, and everything. No matter at an individual level, we have saved them, we are celebrating them. And I think the most difficult time during this COVID-19 also, we have saved our culture to a great extent. Dharma based our behavior, having love, or passion, or even benevolence, or sharing of goods and services, or serving to others as such, we have been behaving during COVID-19 also. So the main problem is that whatever we are behaving in our day-to-day life, especially I am talking of Sanatani Parampara. I think in one of discourses I explained the difference between Sanatan Dharma and Gair Sanatan Dharma as such. There are two types of Dharma. Another Dharma, we cannot call it Dharma, they may be religion or Mazhab as such. And Sanatan Dharma, we are having two branches, one of Hindu, another of the Jain, Sikh, Baudh. They all belong to the Sanatan Dharma because they connect the institutions of previous births and the next birth, incarnation. They are believing in those institutions. They believe in the existence of souls. But this Gair Sanatan Dharma, like Islam and Christianity, they don't believe in this previous births and next births like that. And also, they don't fully believe that it's the existence of soul. Those are the basic difference between two types of dharmas on earth. So in Sanatan Dharma, we are behaving in day-to-day life, say from sunrise to sunset, entire our daily routine should be confined to from sunrise to the sunset. What's the benefit of sunrise? We are getting sunrise. Now, scientists and yogic scientists are explaining in that manner. For getting early in the morning, your pituitary glands, it starts secreting, your efficiency level will increase automatically. So if this is being explained like this only, then only there will be belief amongst this scientific brains as well. In today's world, anything written in Sanskrita or provided by mantra, by chanting of mantra, will not or shall not be accepted by the modern brains. We'll have to explain in a scientific manner. One, explanation in a scientific manner, then also giving results, so showing results by using obviously labs in a laboratory equipments, then only people will believe. So one part will be that we should try to connect with our ancient history, our ancient scriptures, believing that is Sattology, it's not mythology. In your own words as well. It existed. Rama existed in some point of time. Krishna existed. Mahabharata and Ramayana, they were, they existed in one particular point of time. Where if we are generating that belief, in our granthas, our scriptures, with that belief, we just move another paradigm of our own knowledge system. Then I think things will improve, and things are improving. From day one, I am having this proposition: things are improving. Things are improving, maybe slowly, but that day is not very far. And you know that it's not Indian, there's not me, Indian Bajpai. The world is accepting that India is changing. Our own respect in the whole of the world has increased like anything. No matter our index on different parameters haven't improved, but so far as respect has certainly improved, especially the third world countries. It's seeing towards India. I know, when in Singapore, we are seeing that people who were having the anti-China slogans, they were having our tricolor carrying as India can give a fight to China. India has given us a fight to China. Yes, Aditya.
The terms of engagement has to be changed. Like for example, when we invented the term Sattology, immediately changed the terms of engagement. Now we can say ours is Sattology, yours is
Yes,
Mythology. Like it's reversed it completely. Now the terms of engagement have to be reset by us also one more time, because we have to start. And it's a great, I really commend the current government of India to do that, the putting a ban list, which is a great thing. It has a multiplier effect. It's not 17,000 crores, it is actually 117,000 crores. So it may look 117, but if you look at the allied industry and everything else, it is not protectionism, it is promotion. We have to reverse, look at everything reverse. Because see, western world will say protectionism because they want your economy to be open so that they can sell. And WTO
yes,
doesn't have the best interest of India in mind.
yes, I
WTO,
know, I know.
the US doesn't accept WTO. They don't accept WTO. They're probably, I am not sure, but they are not the signatories to WTO also. So they don't accept it if we pass a resolution. UK or the other important powers will not accept WTO resolutions. Uh, the the ownership of WTO responsibility. WTO is an organization which is used by the West to sell their products very clearly. Climate change is another area where we all know the West was responsible for. I live in the West and I oppose here that we must participate in the climate change because America has been the biggest polluter in the world. I say it openly, and in many public forums I've said it.
Yes, yes,
And the West has to own the responsibility. The Industrial Revolution actually polluted the whole world, and we all accept it because the Indian technologies were far economically, environmentally friendly, including the lifestyle. Uh,
yes, yes,
so the West has to, but they will never accept it. So India as a big country has a responsibility to change or create a new rules of engagement that can be a good policy, foreign policy guidelines also for the current Indian government. Their external affairs ministry should move towards creating our own benchmarks which the West needs to adhere to if they want to sell in India. Very clear. So this is how things move forward, because otherwise they're going to kill Indian industry. I know how what they have done in South America. South America is a net importing country. What they have done in Africa is a net importing country. Because if they do not have the markets, how they will sell? If they want to maintain the current level of Western consumption, they need to see. You know economics better than me. That if somebody becomes rich, then 10 other people become poor. It's a supply and demand. It's a basic economic balance theory. So for them to remain rich, India, in their interest, has to remain a poor country. Otherwise, nobody is going to buy it. So, do we think in
true,
that
true,
way?
true, Aditya, true, Aditya, true, Aditya, true, Aditya. Actually, it's not purely economy. It entails a lot of, you see, diplomatic relations also. Uh, Number one, India should improve its own relations with its, you see, what's a backyard, you see, nations. Then you see, India should muster support from other, see, developing nations. India has already mustered support from, you see, some developed nations also, like the Soviet Union, Japan, France, German, uh, like that. So under the United Nations, suppose some move is, you see, initiated by India, thinking that WTO should uh, relax some of its conditions so far as import and export relations are concerned, that this much percentage must be imported, this much percentage of total produce must be imported by these countries. Why should there be any imposition like that? So it all depends upon our own, you see, diplomatic relations, or rather diplomatic persuasion vis-a-vis, you see, many other countries. India has got that power of persuasion. This much I would like to tell you. India has, developed its own confidence matrix across nations. So if that confidence matrix is being used by our diplomats outside India, then things can improve. In a democratic world, a person who is having more votes within the United Nations, but you know that India is still waiting for its seat under this United Nations Security Council. The countries like China, they are opposing, India to get a seat for, United Nations Security Council. Similarly, things may not be easy, but there should be some initiation. Very recently, we have initiated about 2,000 vice chancellor, president, and foreign vice chancellors have filed a petition with the WTO that why should there be any patents so far as vaccination is concerned. This the production of vaccine should be patent free so that many other producers can come forward and produce vaccines to make available to all the persons available. So if this type of, if not only the government, the peoples of the world can unite together against these particular conditions of WTO, which are beneficial to this Western, especially America and UK, things can improve. But you see that Rome was not built in a day. And there are miles to go before I sleep. Aditya.
Thank you so much, Professor Bajpai. I think it's a great conversation we had, and I hope it will
Thank you,
help
Aditya. Thank you very much.
through your efforts. You're having such a dynamic leadership in this space. I hope people listen and we create a good working model for economic resurgence. Earth se dharma aata hai, dharma se earth. Both have to go in cycle.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah, yeah.
otherwise people will get into wrong karma. If there is no dharma earth cycle, there will be karma, and moksha will be forgotten in any way. So thank you,
Yeah.
thank you so much, and,
Thank you, Aditya, very much. Thank you very much.
and namaste. And for the viewers, please do watch it on YouTube, comment on it, and let us know your feedback.
Thanks from my side also to all the viewers of United States of America. We'll meet some other time, some other day. Okay.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very much, Aditya.
Namaste.